You've been asking for it, and here it is, a DraftKings only show where we will construct a full cash and GPP lineup for wildcard weekend using DraftKings scoring. Plus, we'll unveil a brand new DraftKings contest for our subscribers. It's free entry and with a prize pool of $100. All of that coming up next. Hello, everyone. This is Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants. We'll get to that full cash and GPP lineup on DraftKings in just a minute. First, I want to tell you about our new contest, which starts this week on Wildcard Weekend for our subscribers for Subscriber Appreciation Week. So you have to be a subscriber. So first thing, be sure you smash that red subscriber button so you're qualified. Then it's 2 easy steps to enter the free entry contest. Step 1 is you need to sign into your DraftKings account. If you don't have a DraftKings account, no problem. We'll put on the screen our FFC sign up link. It helps support the show. So if you don't have a DraftKings account, please sign up for one. It's completely free using DraftKings.com/r/fantasy consultant. So once you sign into your own account or sign up for a new account, you go to the second step, which is enter this link. It's DraftKings.com/draft//100/522/556. After you enter that link, you'll be prompted to enter a full lineup on DraftKings, which covers both the Saturday games and Sunday games. So you can pick from players from all 6 games. And out of everyone who participates, whoever finishes first for this week will take home $50. Then we'll do the contest again next week for another $50 for the first place finisher, and that makes our $100 prize pool. Now, word of warning, only 200 participants can participate in this contest on DraftKings, so you better enter it in quickly before it fills up. In case you missed it, I want to give you a heads up to our NFL DFS masterclass series on YouTube. It's completely free, and what it does is it takes you through 9 class series about how to be better at NFL DFS play, starting with a beginner's class, including 10 tips to be successful as a beginner, then how to pick the contest, and then deep dive strategy tips on the different positions: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. And it ends with a deep dive in cash strategies versus GPP strategies. We even have a couple bonus classes on showdown strategies and the 5 mistakes DFS players make. All of that is in the descriptions, the link. I'll also put a link up above. Highly recommend you check it out. I just wanted to share just a few of the comments that we received about our DFS Masterclass. Mario says, I credit your Masterclass for giving me the strategy to cash more often than not. Barry says, I'm new to this and watch your newbie shows. Great help. Instead of donating money, I've started cashing. Similar to the Langster channel, which says, thanks to your tips and strategy, I have cashed 6 weeks in a row. All the masterclass videos are great and really help with strategy and selecting lineup. That's what Walter says. And Gridiron Samurai says, I also appreciate the advanced class videos. Definitely changed the way I view DFS and opened my mind exponentially. And finally, Edward Pope says, you guys changed the way I view building lineups and made me more consistently profitable. I can't thank you guys enough. Well, we thank you guys for all of that feedback. If you follow these strategies, does that mean that you will always have a winning lineup? Of course not. But if you follow up these strategies more times than not, you should be cashing out in your cash games and giving yourself the best chance possible in the GPP play, which has longer odds. All right, folks. Without any further ado, let's get into the DraftKings studio and prepare a cash lineup using some of the tips and strategies from that NFL DFS class. One of the things that we talk about at an NFL DFS masterclass is we want to start with running back, but there are a couple of criteria we're always looking for. We want a running back, preferably that's home, preferably that's a favored, that is the primary back and gets goal line carries and gets involved in the passing game. And as an extra little benefit, we want a nice implied total. Well, guess what? We don't have just one of those guys. We have three of those guys in our lineup. All right, that's Alvin Kamara, Chris Carson, and James Conner. Let's start with Alvin Kamara. Boy, we see what happens. How much does Alvin Kamara like having Drew Brees as his quarterback? He's so much more effective than with Taysom Hill. We see his ceiling is even greater if Michael Thomas doesn't play. But I think he'll be fine here. Implied total of 29 in this game. Don't forget, he was out last week, so he basically effectively had a bye, so he should be fresh in this game. Obviously, we'll monitor it, but because the game is on Sunday and not Saturday, he is expected to play as long as he doesn't get a positive test. Thrilled to fit in Alvin Kamara in our lineup at $8,500. All right, let's talk about Chris Carson. I want you to keep something in mind. The reason why Chris Carson and James Conner have a depressed price is there are some question marks with them. First, Chris Carson. There's a question mark for the fact that he is facing an extremely tough defense in the LA Rams. But look, folks, the Seahawks want to run the ball. Trust me, I'm a big Seahawk fan, especially in the playoffs, right? So if they get that lead, they're going to be feeding Chris Carson, and they will utilize him on the goal line. Similarly, with James Conner, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not been very successful this year running the ball, but keep in mind, Oliver Vernon, a star defensive end of the Cleveland Browns, he is out. So I think that they're going to look to run the ball more than normally. And the last time that the Steelers hosted the Browns, you know what? James Conner did just fine. 20 carries on 101 yards plus a touchdown. So let's slide James Conner in our lineup. All right, where are we going to go from here? I really want to continue to attack that New Orleans game. Why? Because of that 29 implied total. And Michael Thomas is just too cheap. So here's the deal with Michael Thomas. At only $6,400, we're getting him in our lineup. The deal with Michael Thomas is he was doing all right. You know, not Michael Thomas of previous years, but his last 4 games, you know, 8 receptions, 11 receptions, 8 receptions, 9 receptions, 4 receptions, and 9 receptions. But here's the thing. He was obviously hurt. Nothing wrong with his hands. He could catch the ball, but his mobility and getting down the field. So they said, you know what we're going to do? We're in the playoffs. We don't know our seeding, but we're in the playoffs. We're shutting you down. We're shutting you down so you can be healthier in the playoffs. So I think this production, and I think he's been unlucky because he's such a big guy and a target around the end zone with Drew Brees. This is his floor. Now, if he comes back having any type of better health, given he sat out for so long, man, I really like Michael Thomas and his price. So we got him in our lineup. The other game that I really want to attack because I think is going to be very high scoring is the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts. The Buffalo Bills offense, their passing game is the second best passing game in all of football. While the Colts, in 4 of the last 5 games, their defense has given up a 300-yard passer. So there should be lots of opportunities, especially for John Brown. Why? Because as of Wednesday, both Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley did not practice. I think Diggs is likely to play, and I think Beasley's likely not to play. They've been calling him week to week. We're going to continue to monitor those situations, but leaves great opportunity for John Brown at only $4,700 price. We'll go for that. Happy to get him in our lineup at such a small price. And I really think that you could see, given the game script and given the injuries to the other wide receivers, him getting closer to that 8 and 11 targets that we've seen recently. All right, where we go from here? I really am excited about this next pick, given his price at only $3,900, under the stipulation that he turns out to be 100% healthy, is Darnell Mooney. All right, here's the deal, folks. When you play Chicago, you probably heard me say this multiple times. When you play Chicago, it's easier to pass. They're a tough defense, but it's easier to pass against them than run against them. But the one really strong part of their passing game is Marshawn Lattimore. He is going to be on Allen Robinson. So it should give Darnell Mooney some room to roam. Last week, he received 13 targets. That's sensational, especially given his $3,900 price. So Darnell Mooney is in our lineup. And speaking of targets, we are going to really get targets here at tight end. You might say, who are you talking about? Because you're not talking about Travis Kelce, who gets a bye this week. You're not talking about the Raiders' Darren Waller, because he's on his winter vacation till next year. I'm talking about Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas had, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that does an excellent job. They're #1 ranked rush defense. So I think the Washington football team, if they're going to have any success, is going to have to pass the ball. And by the way, game script wise, they're 7.5-point dogs. So they're likely going to be behind, and they're going to have to pass the ball. But to who? I don't know if you guys are watching the games, but Terry McLaurin, the guy is absolutely injured. He's not 100%. He's gutting it out there, but he is not the weapon that he has been in the past. So they're going to be looking to go to Logan Thomas, I think, similar to that Seattle game when they got way behind. I don't know if we can expect 16 targets in this game, but I think we can expect double-digit targets. And at only $4,900, well worth the price. Remember, we're on DraftKings here, full PPR. So each one of those receptions is giving us a point. I like it. I like it. So we have $10,700 left. That means we can actually spend up at quarterback. And basically, I'm going to be preaching this all week. I think the two guys that it's really between is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I like both of those guys in shootouts. Both of those quarterbacks are huge weapons, not only in the air, but on the ground. They provide an excellent floor and give you a big upside as well. I think they're worth the price. I am going to lean slightly for a floor to Lamar Jackson, given the injuries of the wide receivers. He's $300 more, and I can't afford him. So I'll get Lamar Jackson in my lineup. Again, 29 implied total. You love that. 55 over and under. And most importantly, only a 3.5-point spread against Tennessee. So this has shootout potential. I don't think Baltimore is going to get up by 3 touchdowns and have Lamar Jackson, just handing the ball off. I think this is going to be back and forth, high scoring game. The lines makers, like I said, say 55 over under. Let's dial up Lamar Jackson in our lineup. And we only have $2,900, but it's perfect amount to grab the LA Ram defense. What the heck is going on here? Why is DraftKings so to low price on the LA Rams? FanDuel, I think, has the Rams the highest price defense, or at least the second highest price defense, but not DraftKings. Look, the Rams get the second most sacks in all of football. That's what you're looking for, a defense that can attack the other offense, potentially make some mistakes. And it faces a Seattle Seahawks offense defensive line that has given up the 5th most sacks this year. So cause pressure, not only get the points for the sacks, but potential turnovers. So as a floor for $2,900, super excited to get the Rams in my cash defense. So there is my cash lineup: Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, Chris Carson, Michael Thomas, John Brown, Darnell Mooney, another Thomas, Logan Thomas, James Conner, and the Rams defense. All right, let's move to GPP. All right, let's talk about my GPP lineup. As I say in our NFL DFS masterclass, what we want is correlation because we're looking for that high ceiling. So we're not worried about getting a high floor. We want that high ceiling. So we're going to attack the Buffalo-Indianapolis game, which has a 52 over-under. And we're going to start with Josh Allen throwing to his number one target, Stephon Diggs, who just leads the entire NFL in targets this year. Now, we're going to monitor the news and make sure that we're comfortable that Diggs is 100% and good to go. But assuming that, we're going to keep him in our GPP lineup. And then we want to run it back going the other way with the number one target of Phillip Rivers, especially in the second half of the season, T.Y. Hilton. All right, the other stack that we're going to do that we really like is pair a running back with their defense. Because if that team is ahead, they're going to continue to feed their running back, and the defense can kind of, with a lead, get passes thrown against them and pile up the points. So we're going to go with Cam Akers and the LA Rams. Now, granted, they are an underdog, which isn't ideal, but they're only underdog by 4.5 points. Easily can see the situation of the Rams get up on the Seahawks. And if they're going to be relying on Cam Akers, especially if John Wolford plays, who I expect to play. John Wolford has played exactly one NFL game, which was last week. And they're going to be relying to Cam Akers, to take more of the carry load, running the ball rather than passing. They ran the ball 30 times to 22 passes last week. And I think he's going to be giving short dump-offs to Cam Akers rather than throwing the ball deep down the field. Look, Cam Akers in the last 4 weeks, 24 touches, 16 touches, 32 touches, and 22 touches. He's simply too cheap at only $5,100. And likewise, I told you why I like the Rams. They are truly one of the best defenses of all football, great at putting pressure, second most in sacks. All right, a lot of the guys I've already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about them again, but I do want to talk about that Tennessee-Baltimore game. I want some exposure to that game because as a 55 over/under, I think it's going to be a shootout. So I'm going to pick Lamar Jackson's number one wide receiver target in Marquise Brown, who's been very consistent, getting 7 and 8 targets a game, can be a deep threat, love getting high air yards in GPP. To the other side of Corey Davis. Look, A.J. Brown is great, a lot of deep yards, but he is so expensive. Corey Davis can come up with a big game as well. So we'll take Corey Davis as our other wide receiver. Last guy that we haven't talked about is at tight end. It's a punt play, but at only $3,000, Cole Kmet. Again, remember what I said before, they attack New Orleans in the air more than in the ground. Cole Kmet will definitely avoid Marshawn Lattimore. And the guy had 7 receptions last week. So I'm looking for Chicago game script wise to get behind in this game as a 10-point underdog. They're going to be throwing it more. So I think Cole Kmet gives us a reasonable ceiling given his DraftKings price. And that is our GPP lineup. We are nearing the end of our Subscriber Appreciation Week. It has been so fun to give you guys all this content. I want to remind you that the thing I'm most excited about for this week is still to come. This Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. That's about 1 hour before the first kickoff of the NFL playoffs. We are going live, so you do not want to miss that. Should be a lot of fun. It's great for DFS because what we're going to be able to do is answer any last-minute questions, update you guys on any late-breaking news that affects the slate. Also, we have done a spread show where we pick each of the spreads. If you haven't checked that out, we'll link that video at the end of this video. And we can be talking about who we think that's going to do well in the playoffs, who do we like against the spread, all that type of thing. Or you can just come in and ask us any questions that you want about The channel are suggestions about the future. I'm really looking forward to it. Until I see you guys on Saturday before the NFL playoffs, take care. We will go into the YouTube comment section, by the way, and update these lineups to the extent we get new information. Until we see you Saturday, take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time.